Okay.
Hello, and welcome to this video. And today I have two superstars of progressive rock with me. I have to have from a million prog bands, Arena and some other ones. We've got John Mitchell, and then we've got the famous Jem Godfrey from the world of pop, who's done things like Atomic Kitten, and then he also does prog and all that bit. Well, I've got them too, but on top of that,
Andy Edwards, YouTube star.
and 15 years ago, whenever it was, when I was a lot less grey, we had a band together, didn't we?
We did.
And we're all back together. So how are you, chaps?
Yeah, really good. No, yes. Jet lag.
Have you got jet lag, John?
Yeah, I got jet lag. I only woke up about 10 minutes ago.
Nice. I've got to pay attention. As I haven't mentioned it before, but that mirror is brilliant because Andy's massive distorted sort of face is behind.
And it's slightly delayed, isn't it? It's like a really cheap Bohemian Rhapsody effect, isn't it?
Keep doing that Stevie Wonder thing.
Like that.
Yeah, that's right.
So how are you all? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. It's, as I say, it's kind of the three of us back together. It's a bit like some sort of weird temporal wormhole has occurred.
Well, when you put out that video and put all those lovely scenes of us, what track was that for? Because I've done no research.
It's the new album. It was basically the record company didn't have any budget, so I had to bank together a load of old video. So it was quite good fun actually.
When I saw, I only watched that one because I was in it, you see. So I thought, I'll watch that one, and I enjoyed to see us all in the old days when we were having a laugh. And I thought,
no, Narcissus, he doth stare at himself in the well.
I love you, John. Your schooling comes into full effect, doesn't it, at moments like this? That sort of passive aggressive insult that you got there that is so just full of sort of Greek myth. It's like being insulted by David Starkey.
Oh, I like to think that my parents didn't waste entirely £3 a term at school, did they?
Oh, did you just say you got an album out then?
What?
Have you got an album out?
No, I haven't got an album. No, what are you on about?
You got an album out, John?
Have you got an album out?
I'd like to think I'm happy that my parents didn't flush £3 a term down the bog at school. That's all I said. Sorry.
See, we're here to talk about the new Frost album, but now I've brought up John's schooling and the amount of money his parents had. We're gonna have to try. John, move away from that. Move away from that.
It impedes me in my daily life, Andy.
I know. They told you you'd end up in the cabinet, and you haven't. Hanging around with Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. Just think of the trouble you'd be in now with this lot in.
Yes,
they don't like your types.
No, they don't.
They don't, do they? I love the backgrounds we've got as well, because of course me now being no longer a progressive rock musician but being an influencing YouTuber type.
Yes.
I'm in platonic space. Where am I? Nobody knows.
It's a bit like a hostage video. Looking at you, to be honest.
Well, I don't want to say too much about it, but
Maybe hold up random bits of A4 saying these people are holding me against my will.
I've got a proper screen here. I can roll it down. You can see the. That's YouTube striptease. That is
the Wizard of Oz. Don't do that. Don't pick. Oh God.
Well, John, you look like you're sat in. You know the bloke when they, in like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the old professor, and they go up to see him, and he's a bit grumpy, but he's full of wisdom.
I'm surrounded by books.
Yes, that's what you look like. Yeah.
Oh, you've fallen into my ruse. You're remain unread.
Looking at your room, John. What happens with those books? What happens if you want to read that one, like 16 down on that third? What happens there?
Miniature forklift.
You just do that.
No, miniature forklift.
Oh, perfect. Take it to H3.
Take it to H3. Yeah, that's me.
The thing with those books is they look so precarious, don't they? It's a stack of books, but they really look like on my left that there's a lot of pressure, like Jenga, that at any moment that whole thing could collapse.
If it's bothering you, I can just
Oh, you could definitely obscure it, John.
It's like, like the penny slot machines where all the thing goes forwards and backwards,
Yeah,
and it's fat, isn't it?
in the
You
coins,
put
yeah.
one more book on top that comes from
Yeah.
Amazon, the whole lot goes over. That's it.
That's it. That's
And
it.
then,
And all that knowledge is lost.
of course, looking at Jem's lovely room, I believe I'm looking at trees that were alive when Norman the Conqueror entered our shores. Don't you think? I mean, how old are those beams?
They've got to be 500.
This is an old barn. It's an old barn I'm renting, and these really are from like 1760. Some of these.
70, it's like a bit later. So when
Yeah.
when they were saplings, what do you think was going on? Isaac Newton dropped on the head by an apple, all that bits, round about there.
I reckon it was Pitt the Younger having a duel on Blackheath and all that. I reckon it's proper.
Yes. So I've set the scene. Then we're all here. You have got a new album out.
Yeah, well, we can't. The thing is, we're not. You said that Million Town was rubbish and electronic and full of autotune, so you don't deserve to talk about this new album.
Well, first off,
Outrageous.
I know.
Well, the thing is, I'm not as knowledgeable on production
You
techniques as
just
you,
did
Jem.
your YouTube channel, Andy.
I just talk about prog with veiled far right ideology underneath to pander to the middle aged audience that watch my channel. That's what I do, and that's what I'm an expert on. But I have all these years. I have wanted to ask you: was there any autotune and programmed drums and drum replacements on Million Town?
Of course, you know that.
Should we all be out of tune, Andy? Should we?
Yeah, we used appalling modern techniques, which got me into as much trouble as it didn't. So yeah, and yeah.
And so, but the thing is here we are all these years later, and it's still a loved album, isn't it? I brought in Stephen Gould, who runs the Fusion Fest over. I think he's interviewed you, Jem. He might have interviewed you. And I said, pick your 10 greatest albums of the 21st century of prog. And he put Million Town in there. And he said he would have put it at number 1, except that I was in the room with him and he felt bad to do that. So it's had a legacy, hasn't it? Wouldn't you say? I mean, wow. we should be celebrating really the fact that we all were involved in some way in the things. And I think, especially with the way the world is and the sort of, almost civil war we're getting between people, don't you think we should celebrate the fact that we were involved in this album and people are still listening to it after all this time?
Well, it's the fact that it's 20 years ago. I mean, that's what's bizarre. I mean, where the hell has 20 years gone? That's just bizarre.
It's incredible, yeah. And it's another time, isn't it?
Yeah. When you could actually make money out of doing it.
So, I've had a lot of people contacting me saying, have you heard the new Frost album? And I said, no, I don't listen to any of the albums they do because I'm an ex-member of Frost. And when you're an ex-member, you never listen to any albums by the bands you were once in. Everybody knows that because it's either going to be better than what you did or worse, and whichever way, it's not going to be a happy experience. And they have turned around and said, no. This is as good as Million Town, if not better. And so I will be straight with you. I went and had a listen to it, and I believe it is. I think it's a brilliant album. I think you've amalgamated all the Frosty things that make Frost what Frost is, and I think you've nailed it. I know in the previous albums you've done some good bits, but you've been fanning around going down dead alleys, and all that bit, exploring things that, proper proggers aren't interested in. But with this one, you delivered a good bloody double album, conceptual album, full on, long tracks, keyboard solos, the whole works. Was that your plan?
Do you need us to be here?
My channel. You don't understand. The tables have turned, Jem. The tables have turned.
That's brilliant.
You're in my world now.
You know what? There comes a certain point where you got to give the people what they want, isn't that right? So it was just an exercise in that, really. And now I've run out of semiquavers. I might have to retire.
So was that your intention going in, or did you just start messing about and it just happened?
It just happened. I was very inspired by John. John was my sort of my mentor for this, because when he does his Lonely Robot albums, well, as he's over there, he goes into Lonely Robot mode. You don't see him for a month. He just holes up in his house, and pizza gets delivered. And didn't you wake up one morning and there was pizza outside or something?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I fell asleep on the job. That sounds rude. We're outside. Yeah, there was. I'd ordered food and I'd forgotten about it. I was so engrossed in the moment, and you know. But yeah.
So I just did that. I did John. I did a Lonely Rebel thing. I just worked for, as I said, because I work at I don't know, 0.35 speed of John. So it took me 5 months rather than
But
one.
only that, you do care about the details a lot more than
But yeah, and then it was done, and then it was out. It was kind of weird. It was that sort of, I didn't even, because there was so much channeling going on. I've just had all these ideas. I didn't really notice, and then it was finished. And here we are, and it's November.
And so, how did the concept come about? Not, I mean, not the concept specifically, but if you're just fanning around, how do you end up? At what point does it turn into being a concept album? At what point does you went, oh, hang on, this seems to all hang together? I mean, are there lyrics when they start to come in? And did the lyrics come first or second?
It was, well, I think it was. I've always us gentlemen of a certain age. I mean, we grew up. You know, I had an AM radio as a kid, and you know, John would have the same. And it was just always, I used to sit and tune through the radio at night. You know, when I was about 8 or 9 in my living room or my parents' living room, and I was always kind of captivated by the little kind of, you get these little snatches of sound and, you know, little bits of music, and then all these frequency noises sweeping up and down. And I just found it really beguiling, and I loved it. And it was kind of weirdly comforting and also slightly frightening, because it was, you know, you realize there's all this world out there. And then of course later on we discover that you got these brilliant things called number stations, which is actual governments agents doing these sort of secret codes on these you know, these going to go 7 3 5 5 3 5, and then there's bells, and then there's monkeys hitting drums and weird loots. And it's all that kind of, it's kind of scary and weird. So I just had this idea of, you know, what if there was a person in all that out there trying to be heard. So that was kind of where it came from.
You are a proper progressive rock musician at heart, because if you come up with an idea like that, that means you're a progressive rock musician. I would never come up with anything like that. That would never pop into my head. That sort of framework.
You don't want to be a progressive rock musician.
I don't.
I've seen
you've jumped out of all the bands at one time.
Yeah, it was the most enjoyable thing. You know, and the thing
you have a button. Was there a button?
Look, I'm trying not to make it about me, because Jem's admonished me a little bit, but now you've opened the door, I'll get it back onto me. Yeah, it was. The best thing was when I announced it. I woke up the next day and someone messaged me and said, Prog Magazine's covered it. I got in Prog Magazine without asking, by not doing prog. I mean, what does that say about the genre?
Well, I was kind of, you know, you mentioned, I was watching about it, and I kind of, you were saying, I've done this, I've been in the band, I've done this, and you know what, I'm bored. Basically, what you are, I worked it out, you're an improvisational jazz musician. That's what you are, and that's all you're like Bruford. That's all that's interesting about you, is the moment in the now. So by the very definition, you can't be in any bands. So actually, you've done us a favour.
In fact, and you should know this, because you have jazz hair. You must wake up in the morning, look at him and go, oh yeah. I'm just like Bruford with crazy hair.
I've been told that before, that I've got jazz hair. Yeah,
you have, or the guy from the front of the, you know, mastermind game.
Well,
that's
look,
Yeah.
Not the TV program, but you're about
the guy with the Vietnamese leg behind it.
The Vietnamese. I do believe on the internet there is a Photoshop of me in that position with the Vietnamese lady.
Is that?
So yeah, you've stumbled onto something that is a true thing. Yes, that I had. Yeah.
I'll do that a bit more.
Yes, like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, so this would be my question to you, right? And as we're really early on and we're losing viewers, you see, we're losing viewers now. They've all got. I've seen those three together. They seem to be getting on all right. There's a little bit of a spark. There's a little bit of thing going on there. I can see that. He's definitely the ex-drummer. You know, there's all that going on, and now it's got a little bit boring. Please, shall we just sell the album now and get it out of the way?
It's there you are. It's 15 quid or something.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so the link is down below, everybody. I honestly, when I get to the end of the year and I do my top 10 albums, I think it's probably the best progressive rock album I've heard so far this year. And I'm not saying that, and I wouldn't have contacted you if I hadn't have gone. I didn't contact you with the other albums, did I? But when I heard this, I thought that's bloody good. Same feeling, Jem, I had many years ago when you messaged me and said, you want to drum on this album, what's your fee? And I went, this is my fee. And then you sent me Black Light Machine in demo, and then I rang you up and said, I'll do it for free. It was incredible. And
Thanks, very kind of you. I know you can't have your old job back.
I don't want it back. You've got Blundell in. He's a professional, that man. He's always playing. I mean, I touch the drumsticks every few weeks, I've still got the chops. I can still do it.
I know. I saw your 13s thing the other day. That was
at the beginning of the year, I just thought I better show everybody who's boss, and I did do a version of the Black Page just so everybody knows I can do it. I can learn material if I have to. But my question is this: is that when you go out to gig, you guys are going to have to get in a room and learn this stuff. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's for the first time I'm actually glad about Brexit because it means we might not have to gig.
You are. We're bonding now because this is the whole point, isn't it?
Well, there is this cloying assumption, isn't there, that if you make music, you have to go out and play it to 30 people in a bar in Belgium, but you don't really. There's no gun. There's no.
So,
are you saying here that you're not going to gig it?
If I'm not saying we're not going to gig it, but it's got to be the right circumstance. When we did the 5 dates, the Island Live tour, last couple of years ago, it was 5 days. It cost me 30 grand. It was 6 grand a day. I can't afford to do that. I can't go out for a month. I haven't got 200 grand knocking around.
That is bonkers, isn't it?
And we had lights. We had a bus. The bus was £1,000 a day. There was fuel, which went through the roof. It was 9 of us. We had merch. There was a public liability insurance, musical equipment insurance. We had to rehearse for a week. It was just, and then by the time we'd done that, and it was great fun, but I came back and I was 5 grand out of pocket. And I suddenly thought it was great fun to do, but if I'd actually just sat on my arse, I'd have 5 grand.
Well, worse than that, if you'd applied 30 grand into some other area, right, you would have made money back in bucket loads. And this is the thing I've realised.
I need a new thumb because my thumb's knackered. So that's apparently that's 10 grand to get a new thumb, apparently. So I could have done that. I could have had 3 thumbs fitted.
Which is actually that's your right thumb, which is essential for prog, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's essential for prog, that one.
Exactly right.
Because of the
it's not essential for punk, Andy.
Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Even if you were more on the experiment, if you played like for Brian Eno, the more experimental side of prog that we're not allowed to do in our genre. Not having a thumb's an advantage, isn't it? Because Brian Eno used to tape the fingers up, didn't he, of his keyboard players? Do you know this? Yeah, he'd hire a virtuoso keyboard player, bring him in, and then he'd sellotape their hands up so they'd only got like a couple of fingers, like Django Reinhardt on the keyboards, and they'd have to do it like that.
So Ian. Can I ask a question? What microphone are you using? You seem you'd be quite encumbered with 2.5 kilohertz.
Oh yeah, it's not a good mic, is it? It's
really not.
It really is.
A man of your star status on YouTube requires something a bit more.
I went and bought this microphone. It was a bit cheap, and when I got it, I wasn't happy with it. And before I did this, I plugged this one in, and I haven't got any other mics here. So I tried the MacBook mic, and that sounded actually worse. And I tried my iPhone mic, and that was about the same. And so it isn't very good, and I will get complaints about it. But there's an irony in the beautiful sort of anal retentiveness of Frost production that you're going to have to put up with my voice sounding like this on this interview. But hopefully you'll get some album sales out of it. That's the whole point. So everybody remember, there's a link down below. Go and buy the album. Brilliant album. Right, so how about rather than gigging, why doesn't Frost come up to my new abode?
Where do you live?
Well, I've just taken on a new studio, which is huge, and it was designed specifically in mind to be able to help bands promote themselves in a much cheaper way. So you could come up. I've got full recording studio there, got full lights, I've got everything. You come up to mine. We could get some tea. There's a Greg's very close. We could get some Greg's in, right, and then you could perform, and then you could take it away and get it. We don't have to do half a track. You don't need to do it. We have a chat. and I'll get that out. That'll reach a few 10, 20,000 people. What do you think? Don't you think that is the future of promotion for bands like this rather than gigging? That's my point. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying, wouldn't that be a more sensible idea?
Well, going up the M42 to a Greg's.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be doing it in the Greg's. I'm just saying, if you are hungry, you don't have to drive a long way.
I'd rather. Why don't we? I'd do it in the Greg's, John. Should we do the? We could just do the Greg's tour. They don't know we're coming, but we're coming, and we're going to get in amongst the sausage rolls and do an hour and a half of.
I think that's a brilliant idea. But by the way, news just in: you can't go into Greg's these days wearing headphones. Apparently, they've got a blanket ban on anybody going up to the counter with headphones. So we could, just.
Why is that?
It slows down the selling process. Apparently, a lot of people on their phones with headphones on, ordering things with their headphones on. It's the new low of society that we've encountered.
And is it because they're sort of going, "Oh, sorry, say that again"?
Yeah, all that. Yeah, and it's just rude, isn't it? Really.
Well, look how red your ears are, Andy. Your ears are really red.
And also, I've noticed as I'm getting really old now, my earlobes are turning into old man earlobes.
Yeah,
they were never like this. I'm 56 now, so the next big one is 60. And that was another thing with me not wanting to do a prog. I think I've can you talk? Because I think I've lost my sound.
1, 2.
Oh, there we were all right. We were all right. Yeah.
Techno.
Yeah.
So how's the reaction been, Andy, to your missive? As prog's loss obviously is YouTube's gain, and how do you feel about that in your soul?
It was just a lot of quite well known progressive rock stars messaging me privately saying I'm not going to tell you who they are.
Name them.
I'm not going to tell you Greg Sport. I'm not going to tell you the sort of people that message me privately because I agree with you.
I reckon did Don Was email you?
He didn't. But yeah, I've had quite a few messages with people agreeing and being quite frustrated with the way things are. And I think there is a new way of doing it. I think there's another way of promoting these bands. And I thought, this is why I got in touch with you, because I'm hoping with this video we can get out, and with this hour of stuff, you'll hopefully get a little bit of love back from the fans out there. That's what I'm hoping. And this is because that's what I want to do with the YouTube. I want to find an alternative way to get the music out of there, you see. So I've just taken on this big studio. It's huge. I mean, I could do a gig in there. I've also got an 800-seater venue in the place I've taken on as well. So rather than having to go out and do gigs, you just put them on where you are. I mean, Jem, just imagine if you had an 800-seater venue next to you now, you could just put your gear next door, do the gig. They could all come down. That would make you a ton of profit, wouldn't it? That one would.
Do you like? Well, I send a question back to you. I mean, do you like playing? Do you like performing?
Well, the reason why I stopped doing prog, the number one reason, was I was trying to work on the new Rain album. Let us say I was trying to write that. I was involved in a whole bunch of other albums, and I was turning up with no inspiration whatsoever to write. And I knew what the problem was. The day after I said I wasn't doing prog anymore, I was in the studio full out. Just
what were you working on?
Whatever came out. And it was just, it was like it was things like I've got a really big room and I want to be able to mic the kit up from 50 foot away and do all this, all mic it down the corridor. It
sounds like what you need to do is you need to open a recording studio. That sounds like that's what you want to do.
Well, I've got my own recording studio that I can use, and I've set this YouTube. I've really set myself up. So I've got my own studio. And I've also got a studio in my YouTube studio. It's a full recording studio, full 24-track recording studio. I've got everything in there I need. Full PA, all the amps. So you could do a live gig. Have you got
Drum Gates?
Have I got what?
You've got DS201. Have you got a DS201? Have you got an LX20?
See, the thing with me is, you see, this is why I can't do prog. Is I don't know about any of that. I've got the worst gear in the world, and it doesn't sound very good. But I don't really mind it.
I'll say, if this mic's anything to go by.
This mic belonged to Mark Hollis from Talk Talk. Do you know that? When he died, he passed it on for me.
That's interesting. You said Talk.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting because I say Talk. And the same way that I say Pendragon, people go, Pendragon.
No, the emphasis is on the pen.
Is it?
Yeah,
pencil grip.
Biro Unicorn.
No, it should be on the Dragon.
No.
The Dragon.
Pentagon. That's quite interesting.
No, Pendragon. And on. And on.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah,
they drag on. And Paint Box. Have you ever heard it? Paint Box.
No,
you see, you ever heard Paint Box by Pendragon?
No.
It goes on and on and on, and you listen and think of, oh my God, this goes on and on. When's it going to end? When's this song going to end? It just won't stop.
You're not going to get us down some contentious rabbit hole, Andy.
I love it. Your faces. Your faces when I did that then. It was brilliant. I'm out of it, you see.
Okay.
I'm out of it.
Okay.
Okay, Andy. It's okay, Andy. Put down the jawbone. It's fine. It's okay.
I don't think they'll be upset. I mean, I do believe at some point I played Paint Box with Clive and Nick.
Weren't you in Pendragon?
Yeah.
So I was sort of in Pendragon, and yeah, and I think they're brilliant, but they do go on a little bit, don't they? Don't you think?
You've just massively rode back from there. You just massively rode back.
Yeah, get back out to sea. Get back out to sea.
Well, the thing is, I played Rosfest with Nick, and when we got there, he started sound checking, and he started to play Race with the Devil on a Spanish Highway by Aldo Meola. And I suddenly realised what a monster he is. He's a monster. He is a monster. So I can have that opinion, but also think that Paint Box, because I remember playing it, did drag on a little bit. I can sort of have those two things. But yeah, I think it's brilliant guitarist. Clive's a great keyboard. Yeah. I mean, if you remember to the old days, I mean, what did Clive Nolan say about you, Jim? Don't want to troll the past up, but he did insult you, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Well,
right. He had a go at you, and you put a this is where we're here to reminisce about the past, and you put a thing up, and it was about Clive, and the title of it was "Fuck Off, Grandad."
There wasn't. This was the thing. It wasn't about that at all. Everyone assumed it was. It wasn't about that. It was about exactly the thing you've been saying about why you got out of prog. It's just it was the kind of at the time I thought of it was sort of there was a bit of an old guard, but it wasn't. Everyone just assumed that it was about. Actually, it was about. It wasn't about Clive. It was about.
Did Clive say, "Oh, this new Frost, they're terrible"?
It was about Mick. No, Mick thought it was about him, and it's not. It wasn't. But,
it wasn't. I was in the band, and I thought it was about them.
I'll tell you what I will say about all of this. I really do think the term neo-prog is offensive. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Like Frost and Lonely Robot get described as neo-prog. You might as well just make a lovely cake and poo on the top of it, because that's right? It's not, neo-prog describes an era of time in the,
and the thing is, throughout my channel, I have continually poured scorn on Marillion. In every way I possibly can, I've poured scorn on Marillion. Totally. I mean, I can see the horror, which I did a mild criticism of Pendragon there, just a mild one. But I have literally video after video poured scorn, done top 10s of the worst bands in all time with Marillion at number 1. Totally did this. And then I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to every single Marillion album in order, which I did from the first to that. So there's a lot of albums. It took me 2 weeks solid doing 2 albums a night, making notes. Right. And what I realized was they have made some amazing albums. They've done some incredible albums. They've done a whole bunch of different stuff. And there's a certain point when they invented the Kickstarter thing, they did an album called Anarachnophobia. And it's amazing. And it's got comedy stuff on and weird, surreal things. And I went, I've totally misjudged this band. And I feel that's part of the process. And again, that band's been around for 40 years. They're labelled neo-prog, but for the last 35 years, they haven't been neo-prog. And,
there's a pattern emerging here. Basically, what happens is you go, Pendragon is shit. Are they, Andy? No. Really shit. Are they, Andy? No.
Because I believe that we need to have that sort of a conversation. I think doing the YouTube channel... Well, it's like nobody's brilliant, nobody's terrible. They all do good and bad things. And I think we need to have an honest conversation, which you put your hand up, John. Carry on.
Do you think it's a part of the duty of care of having a YouTube channel? You need to rag on things. Is that the vibe?
The thing is, I think if you don't have an opinion, then it's pointless having the YouTube channel.
No.
It's like reading a magazine. It's like reading Prog magazine. All the reviews will be pretty good because it's all part of the thing, isn't it? So they're going to say this is quite. No one's ever going to go 1 star terrible. Yes.
Well, Phil from Windsor Pegasus, he doesn't have an opinion, but he's got several million followers, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean that's. I'm a different type of YouTuber to him.
Are you? Oh.
Yeah, I'm a different type of YouTuber.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you just said that in order to have a YouTube channel, you have to have an opinion, but he doesn't. He just analyzes data, and he gets a lot.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. So he's a different type of YouTuber. He's a data analyzer. Yes, Jim.
What about unboxing videos? That's just someone opening a box.
Yeah, that's another type of YouTube video where you unbox things. That's another type. I don't do those. I've never done that. I will do it now, though.
They're very popular, aren't they? Someone has a box and they open it and they get 100,000 views.
Yeah, it's also, there's another genre of people with beards eating in different sort of greasy spoons. That is like lucrative. Big beard. You go down, you visit somewhere like Hemel Hempstead, you find a place that does bacon sandwiches and you order the bacon sandwich, eat it, put it up, 500,000 views, 100,000 quid coming in every year. Yes.
I've got an idea. The idea you just said you spent like a week listening to loads of Marillion albums. If you could save all that time and just open a box and in it could be a pasty. You've got a beard. You could save yourself so much time and make £100,000.
It's a funny thing. I do. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I ranked the 10 greatest British crisps.
There you are.
And that did as well, if not better, than the proper things when I talk seriously about music. As did the greatest moustaches in prog video that I did. That was loved by many people.
How many? How many? How many?
About 1 million a month.
How much is it? Okay, how does that work? I'm curious. How much money do you make out of that? So 1 million people watch it. Does a man arrive at
a month? Well, the thing is that your money's coming from a different places. So I've got a Patreon, and I think the Patreon's got 500 people in. I then have a YouTube tip jar where people put in, and I'm glad you're doing this because I'm actually telling them about this. I've got all the links are below where people just drop money in. They'll just put money in to support me, and then I get the ad revenue.
Well, the thing is that if you do it that way, all the money fall on your head. That's the reason why you do that.
Yeah, and also it makes it look like it's going down, and it's rather than them thinking, I'm not going to give Andy money just for nothing.
No.
Why should I give money to him for nothing? What's he done? Nothing. You see,
so he's done less than nothing. He's left all the bands,
and also then on top of that, my Bandcamp that used to do nothing because of the profile I've got on YouTube is now making me a certain amount, 500 quid a month, something like that, at the Bandcamp.
That's good.
No, it's not as good as what you get from YouTube. This is the future. I tell you now, this is the future.
So,
this is where it is at.
So to be clear, I've already got a YouTube channel. So all I got to do is say contentious things about bands to drive, and
not contentious things. If you're talking about some bands you like, right? You don't
like them. You just said they're all rubbish.
No, I don't. I've always said this. At the moment, the band I'm criticising and keep joking about is Camel. I keep having to go at Camel, and I did have a private message.
They're in their 70s, Andy. You can't pick on pensioners.
Starmer does. Anyway, so you're shocked at this. When you last saw me, I'm like the cat out of Red Dwarf, aren't I? Many years ago, when you last saw me, I was just a lowly prog rock drummer, not in the same level as Certain was, not a Nick DiVigilio, down a few pegs. And then you've come back into my world and you go, what's Andy turned into? What's going on? What has happened to him? He's becoming the prog version of Jordan Peterson.
Well, you were just sort of a timid, mild agoraphobic last time I met you. Now you're like the world's angriest ex-drummer.
I'm not angry. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy.
Are you happy, Andy? Do you know it?
I am happy, and I
really want to show it.
Are you stressed, Andy? Are you stressed, Andy? Are you stressed? Are you stressed? Are you stressed?
Not at all.
Are you
Don't
stressed?
forget to like,
Right.
share, and subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
I give it this morning. I was researching a video, and it's good that you're here because I believe you're friends with Gary Barlow. Jem, are you still friends with Gary Barlow?
Yes.
Well, there's this idea that he's got a son who is a giant.
He's not. He's 6'2".
And I found out he's 6'2", and it's the fact that the whole rest of the family are just slightly smaller than him. And yet, the world's now saying that Gary Barlow has got a giant for a son.
I see what you've done here. This is brilliant deflection. This is brilliant deflection from the fact we've just outed you as well as angriest agoraphobic.
I'm not angry. I'm a happy man. I'm telling you, I'm a very, very happy man. I found my calling.
Prove it with magic tricks. Do it now.
Easy.
What's going on?
Ready?
Yeah.
It's not magic, but it'll be entertaining for the kids. Not that there's any kids watching this.
No, man.
Hey there. Want to play? Great! I love guessing games, especially when I'm sure to win. Think of an animal. Say, okay, when you're ready.
So if you two could think of an animal right now, he's not listed now, so confer, come up with an animal.
Marmoset.
Marmoset. Do you want to go for a marmoset? Okay.
Super. I'm going to ask you a question. Answer yes, no, or I don't know. You can also say, it depends.
You got it?
Yeah.
Does it have only 4 legs?
Has the marmoset got 4 legs?
You just told him. You just told him what it
Say
is.
it again.
I don't even know. It just came into my head. I don't even know what one looks like.
It's a monkey, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it's got. It's got 4. No, is it a biped? Effectively, it's a biped, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we're stumped straight away.
Are you there?
We are there, yes.
Yes.
Aha.
So he does have 4 legs, yes, and I've got a picture of it.
Yes, he's got 4 legs, yes.
Is this animal larger than a football?
Not really. No, about the same size.
No.
Does this animal have a long tail?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I
That's
invoice
what
it this
I
time?
thought. Does it have hair or fur?
Yes, it does. That's rattle.
Yes. Yes. I can't
All
stop this if
right.
it's not entertaining you.
Can this animal live in a house?
Yes.
Well, it can. Most things can.
Okay.
Elephant's can't.
Can it jump?
Yes.
Very interesting.
It's not, is it?
No, bend it off.
This
The trouble is you can't switch him off once he's on.
Go at it with a hammer. Kill it with a hammer.
He has made another appearance on my channel on another video, that little cat thing.
It's like what the fuck is that machine? It's
Well,
like a pervert. It's a
I know.
pervert obsessed with animals.
I know it's a very creepy thing, which is why I've kept it close to me all this time. And somebody asked me to do a reaction video to a record. They said, you never play any records on your channel. And so I decided to react to a Cozy Powell album. But all I did was just put the headphones on and then just listen to it. And I mildly reacted. And that was the whole video. I don't think you understand the nature of my YouTube, do you? I can tell by the look on your faces. You thought I was going to come on and ask proper questions, but it's not worked like that, has it?
No,
I'm looking at the face of bemusement.
It's like
I'm earning a living doing this. This is how I earn my living.
It's like, for example, if I had like Uncle Peter, for example, and he disappeared for 20 years, and you think, fucking hell, Uncle Peter's dead. And then Uncle fucking Peter comes through the door and he's mental. That's basically how I feel at the moment.
What about Donkey Uncle Peter?
Fucking hell, Uncle Peter, you're alive. And he's gone, not only am I alive, but I've got a weird robot pervert cat.
I don't think he's a pervert. Oh, that's unfair on him, really. I don't think he has any. I don't think he has any. I mean, I don't want to get it again. But if you
No,
look,
no, don't start that again.
No.
You were thinking of a gerbil.
gerbil, he got it. He said it was a gerbil.
Marmoset.
It's a marmoset.
Nick, that's pretty close. Don't you think that's impressive? AI. Don't you think that's impressive? Gerbil. That's pretty close to a marmoset, isn't it? Don't you think?
Well, like an oil rig is to a rowing boat. Yeah, I suppose you're quite right.
Oh, you're just trying to find fault. You see. You guys need to get out of Prague. I tell you, you'll feel so much. I know you've accused me of being an angry person, but I'm not. I'm at one with the world now. I just go with the flow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what's your plans next then?
I'm gonna have lunch in about 15 minutes.
I think I'm going to do that. What about you, John? You've been you've been gallivanting, haven't you?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Not great.
Why?
Well, I don't know. The idea of going around America in a Sprinter van, staying in Super 8 hotels is not the most appealing, and doing it for that long with a questionable amount of income, Oh, we can earn money. Are we not? Anyway, don't want to get into it because I might start saying contentious things, and I don't want to.
Well, what I'm saying is that hopefully that I will be earning a little bit out of you talking to the plastic cat. So we'll.
In that case, I need.
Yeah. So yeah. I know you will, Jim. I can give you a breakdown of the costs on this one.
Yeah, I need a minute by minute.
But then I will have to invoice you for any album sales that you get.
That's absolutely fine.
Is that the way forward? I think.
Yeah, we don't start our own trade war. It's a brilliant idea.
I think that's the way to go. Okay, then. I think. What's the time now? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we've done enough, haven't we? Don't you think?
Yeah, I've had it. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. Shall we say goodbye to the audience out there? Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye. I've got to stop it now. Hang on.